Welcome to the Tree Off the Tee podcast. And today we bring you episode number 80. Ian, did we ever think we would produce 80 episodes of the Tree Off the Tee podcast? But here we are around Christmas time. And I must say, it's a huge pleasure for both myself and Ian, and particularly for me that has been out on the LPGA caddying over the last kind of year and 3 months to get one of the biggest names in world golf on the podcast this week. An amazing career in sport and still at a very young age of 27. Let me give you some facts. To play in a US Open at the age of 12 and 13 and 14, and then to turn pro at the age of 15, which is off the charts, will give you some idea of the supreme talent that we are talking about here. And 12 years later, at the age of 27, to be still out there doing her thing and winning tournaments and well inside the world's top 10 is massively impressive. I think this year a stat that hit me a bit was to break inside of the top 10 of the all-time career money on the LPGA is an unbelievable stat as well. And like I said, someone that's very much still in the prime of their career. Lexi Thompson, you're very welcome to the Tree Off the Tee podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Lexi, I'll just echo those words. It's a real privilege to have you on today. Look, it's Christmas and a very special time spent with family and friends. How is it for you?
Yeah, it really is. I love this time of year just because I'm always around my family and we don't get the opportunity of getting us all together throughout the year with our crazy travel schedules because we all play. So I really cherish the moments that I do get with my family, and especially around Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's the best time. I wind down. I don't golf as much, and I'm just really embracing the moments and cherishing the moments around them. And that's what life's all about.
Sure is. It's yours. Look, if we talk about gifts and I suppose wish lists, what does a girl who can have anything really get for Christmas? Did I see a new 4x4 truck or something? Did I see a picture of something massive? Was it?
Yep, that was my Christmas present to me. I was looking to get. I have a sports car, but it's not too reasonable for my height and size. But I still have it. I love fast cars, and that's kind of what I've treated myself to over the years. So now I just got the new Jeep Rubicon 392, and I got it like all blacked out and a bunch of modifications put to it. So I think I'm going to get it tomorrow. So I'm super excited. But honestly, I never asked for anything. Like, we did Secret Santa this year, and my mom got me, and she just put like a bunch of like little snacks and like protein bars and like all that stuff. And it's like perfect for me because I'm just easily pleased, and I'm just grateful for just the time together, honestly.
Ah, no, that's lovely. I was asking my wife, if you could ask Lexi a question, what would it be? And she said, is there anything maybe in the past or as you were growing up that you would have maybe liked to done or gone a different way? And my immediate reply, like knee jerk, was, I said to Orla, who's my wife, she said, she played in the US Women's Open when she was 12, right? She turned pro when she was 15. She has two brothers that are tour players. I don't think there was anything ever else on her radar. So I suppose the first question is, was there anything else on your radar? Is there anything else that, over the years you have a big interest in? And the second part, I suppose, like, what was it like growing up in a house that was clearly golf obsessed?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you. There was really nothing else on my radar ever since I was, probably 10 to 12 years old. I played soccer as well as golf when I was younger, and they wanted me to travel soccer, and I'm like, gosh, I can't do that and travel and play golf. So I had to pick one, and I picked golf, obviously. And I took that route. So ever since I was like 11 or 10 years old, I was like, all right, I'm going to put 100% of my hard work into golf and really pursue it, and wanting to play out on the LPGA Tour. College was never really on my radar ever my whole life because I just knew I wanted to play professionally. And school definitely wasn't my thing growing up. I did online schooling 6th grade through high school, and finished a year early to be able to go out and play and not have to worry about assignments or exams when I was out there. But I'd say, I mean, of course, like doing online schooling and, being thrown into that lifestyle at a young age, I would say the one thing maybe is the social aspect of being, going to college and getting that social experience. But I wouldn't trade anything. I mean, I've had so many social experiences just being out on tour and getting to meet some amazing people and really maturing at a young age. So I've enjoyed that part.
And your brother Nicholas, so you were 13, I think, when he played Walker Cup. So you're sorry, you were 10 when he played Walker Cup. So I mean, obviously that's the big age gap there. Did you play more with Curtis then growing up because he was 3 years older, or was Nicholas more away at the time?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about the second part of that question.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, I grew up mainly playing and practicing with Curtis a lot. Since there's only 2 years different, we would go out to the golf course with our golf clubs on our back and ride our bikes to the golf course because we both did online schooling. So I definitely have a lot more memories practicing with him, but still there was a lot with Nick as well. Even though there was that bigger age gap, we got together a lot and practiced together, which was really nice. Because we grew up on Eagle Trace down in Coral Springs. So we would just literally wake up and go out in our backyard and hit tee shots on the hole and go out there and practice. And I still say to this day, that's why we all became so good, because we had that opportunity and experience with each other.
Yeah, magic moments. Which brother is it that caddied for you towards the latter end of the season? And funny, I rocked over on the putting green at that Trump Ferry Point the week you won most recently, and he was standing by your bag, and I just happened to put the bag down beside him and had a bit of a brief chat. Maybe it was one of the practice days or whatever. But which of your two brothers is that?
That's Nick. That's my oldest brother.
Yeah, and I thought, look, he was a super cool guy. Just, we shoot the breeze there for a couple of minutes before we both leave the putting green, and we'll come on to that and we'll talk about that most recent win in a few minutes. But obviously magical to have him on the bag to experience that with you. Let's wind it back again. I'm intrigued about turning pro at 15. I turned pro at 19 and probably knew really what I was going to do was make a living from golf, but primarily working within the golf industry and teaching people. I think, Ian, probably you were the same, or we might have had ambitions of playing and earning money, making birdies, but that didn't really work out, did it? But talk to me about turning pro at 15 and like, signing big contracts with sponsors, which, by the way, 12 years later, you still have, Puma and Red Bull in particular. But like, how was that for a 15-year-old? Obviously, you must have great people around you to kind of manage that, we'll call it noise, because I'm sure you're not mature enough or really willing or able to deal with that stuff at that age. All you want to do is keep playing the game, I presume.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. At 15, it was definitely a whirlwind, just being thrown into, I mean, it's what I wanted to do, to be able to play professional golf, but to be around people that, I mean, I knew because I watched on TV, but I didn't know personally. And you get a 15-year-old out there, you get some looks, but I mean, everybody was pretty welcoming, but I knew I had to like show my capability out there and show my performance. But and I knew that's how it was going to be. But I think the most important thing, if you're going to make a step at that young of an age, is to have the right team around you. And for me, that's my family. That's my small circle. So I always had my family around me, but also management team as well. So it's really having your partnerships around you with my sponsors, having the same goals in mind and morals that they have. And I really feel very fortunate that I've lined up with the sponsors that I have, like Cobra Puma Golf and Rolex, and just big sponsors that really have supported me throughout my career, but they care about me genuinely as well. So I've been very fortunate enough, but it's a big decision and it's very important to line up with the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk to me then, we wind on a couple of years from there. Like, it was huge news at the time, and as I kind of researched a bit more on it over the last few days, like your journey to actually getting to become a member of the LPGA. Some people might notice, some people won't. Mike Wan, I think, was kind of there at the latter end of that time. But for you to even get membership and to get onto that tour and play, you really broke the mold in what they did and what you forced and what you were looking for to actually have the right to play on the tour at such a young age.
Yeah, it was definitely a process. Obviously, I turned pro at 15, but the regular age is 18 to be a full-time member. So I played off sponsors' invites, which I was able to get 7 on the LPGA Tour year. But then I also played a lot of European Tour golf as well. So it was very different for me because I played so much junior and amateur golf. I was used to playing every other week and so much golf just because I did online schooling. So I was able to do that. And then being professional, I was playing maybe 10 to 12 times a year. And I knew I had to play well whenever I did tee it up. So it was a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I knew I had to prove my point if I was going to make that big of a decision. And then I went to Q school, played first stage, and then ended up winning I won the Navistar LPGA Classic in Dubai between stages of Q school and ended up petitioning the LPGA Tour. And then with winning, obviously it was kind of tough to say no, I guess. And then it kind of opened up the door. Obviously, there was a few other girls that did that as well and are absolutely killing it on tour.
Yeah, it's some journey. Talk to me about before that win then. So when you went out initially and played in your first few events, yes, you're young, you have a lot of golf experience to a certain degree, but did you find it to be a big jump, or were you just so excited to be out there? I'm sure you must have learned a hell of a lot in that first initial year or two from turning pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an experience for sure. Like I said, I was not playing that much. And anytime I teed it up, I knew that I had to prove my point. But at the same time, I had nothing to lose. Anytime I teed it up, I could go out and just play how I play junior and amateur golf. Obviously, I didn't know the golf courses. So playing those practice rounds and really getting a feel for inside the ropes and, basically just that lifestyle. It was all new to me. So I was just kind of learning the ropes. But at the same time, it was amazing. I had nothing to lose and I was just out there living my dream. And, I didn't really have any nerves. I had, nothing to lose. Sky was the limit. So I enjoyed every bit of it. But yeah, it was all a learning process because I didn't know the golf courses. I didn't know players, people that I could pair up with, practice rounds and learn off them. So it was great.
Just continuing on, I suppose, what Harry's saying about turning pro in 15 and that as well. And coaches probably in your life. I mean, you've a unique sort of swing. And how was coaches around you in that? Did they I suppose they left you off and just let you play where I suppose myself or Harry going back over years would have been taught it should be this way, this way, this way at the certain points. And, we would have been changing things. So I suppose to get a good coach and keep going the whole way through was very, very important.
Yeah, it is. I feel like everybody's different when it comes to coaches, whether you're technical or more of a field player. For me, I'm definitely more of a field player. I don't need a coach, on my back every week or have to go see him every week that I can or want him at tournaments. But I did. I mean, I've gone through a few coaches. I worked with Jim McLean a big part of my life, and he's great. And now I've been working with Martin Hall. But those have really been the main two that I've worked with throughout my whole life. I've kept it very simple. And my dad's been my coach basically my whole life too. So I feel like sometimes he knows my swing better than me. But usually with my golf swing, I kind of always go back to the same things if I'm struggling. And if I take one little video and I'm like, ooh, why am I doing that? And then it's just then you tinker a little bit, you take some time, but I'm not one where I'm over it. I'm like, oh, I have to get the club face here, directions. That would just freak me out. So the simpler, the better the thoughts for me. The more I'm focused on doing my pre-shot routine and a last swing thought of good tempo or good posture, something simple like that, rather than getting the club face in a certain direction.
Right. Well, even going with that as well. I mean, we look at the changes in the way golf is being played and the whole role of management teams and, the team that is around a golfer. I suppose if you go from 15 to say 27, nearly 28, I mean, and this whole holistic approach that seems to be out there in terms of swing mechanics. Yes, you work with Jim and with Martin. I suppose statistical analysis, short game coach, putting coach, fishing coach, sports psychologists. Do you use any of them, all of them, or little bits every now and again?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried a good amount of sports psychologists as well. And I think that's a very tough one too, because depending on what you're going through mentally or what you want to improve on, it could be as much as a life coach rather than a sports coach. So it's all a matter of figuring out what's going to better you and what's going to make you more positive out there and feel better just about your day-to-day life. And that's something I'm still trying to figure out. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through quite a bit of coaches and short game coaches as well. I like to go and see short game coaches here there, but at the same time, it's not like a every week kind of thing, because I feel like sometimes overdoing it and getting too much knowledge in your head can kind of mess with you sometimes. So if you can get one or two things that you can really work on and, focus in on, I think that does wonders. And then you can just practice it and really groove it in.
We're talking a good friend of ours, Seamus Power, who's doing very well on the PJ Tour at the moment. And we were just asking him the question. We'll put the same to you. Are you practicing more or less now than, say, 5-10 years ago?
I would say, that's tough. Less overall, I guess, but probably more short game. That makes sense. Like for me, hitting balls, I won't sit there and hit hours of golf balls unless I have something that I want to improve on in my swing and really working on. But I'll putt for hours and do drills and really just try to get confident with it. So it depends. Like right now, obviously off season, I'm not practicing that much until January comes around, and then I'll start getting into it. But I would say, yeah, like during online schooling, my first few years of professional career, I practiced probably a lot more. But now I feel like it's gotten to a point where, I need to give time to myself and to get myself most relaxed and really give my body a break, because I'm in the gym sometimes twice a day too, and practicing 6 hours on top of that is a lot. So giving myself a little bit of break that I need is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. We give ourselves plenty of a break this time of year, Ian, don't we? And we don't go near the gym. Lexi, talk to me a little bit more that time off. So as you say, off season now, you won't tee it up for another little while yet. But do you enjoy this time? Can you switch off, or are you kind of constantly thinking about golf, or are you unbelievably excited to get back at it? Or how can you separate your tour life, where you play typically 25 weeks a year, and have a kind of a different life to be able to switch off? Where are you with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's honestly, I'm kind of in the mix of it right now, trying to find that balance. And I think that's the most important for me. I feel like I play my best is when I give myself those breaks and the little mini vacations of going to see my friends or going somewhere and just getting away from the game, because I feel like then I'm more relaxed. My mind's more relaxed when I do go out, and I'm more refreshed. But as you see right now, I am going to the golf course right after this. It's tough. As much as golf can frustrate the heck out of me sometimes, I'm over here, I'm like, all right, I can improve on something. I can work on something today. And it's like, you know, golf is such a big part of my life, and obviously training, working out. So when I'm not doing those, I usually don't have much time on my hands. So, finding the balance of other things I enjoy, it's been a learning process. But I would say for me, I just enjoy my time with my family. It's like the little things. I just enjoy being around them, or going to see my friends, or going on little vacations and just putting the clubs away. I kind of have to go somewhere to put my clubs away and just leave them.
Yeah, make sure that you leave them behind. Let me talk about that win in New York towards the end of the season. Look, we've all followed you. I particularly have a closer look because you're out there every week, and you go back to your hotel room in the evening and you have a quick scroll down through the leaderboard. And yes, you're looking at your own player that you're working for, but obviously, more than yourself, you see who's up the top on a Friday night. You'll see who's missed a cut, and you might raise an eyebrow to think, God, that player doesn't miss too many cuts. So, like, when you go and put yourself in the position again to win, and you go and win. Funny, we were sitting in the clubhouse, you mightn't remember this, but you came in through the glass doors after doing all your media and everything. And I think Jack Clark was there sitting with me, and he got up and congratulated you, and I got up. But like, everyone that's part of that family out there, and I do call it a family, and equally for the wider world of people who love to watch professional golf, because ye girls and the guys on the men's tour do things that 99% of the golfing population of the world just can't do. But how good a feeling was that to do that, to get the win? And look, we know as professional golfers, we lose 99% of the time in your career. A win is fantastic, but it's not a marker as to where your game is. We've heard that from Rory McIlroy over these last few years as well. But how satisfying was it to win in New York? And as I mentioned earlier, to have your brother on the bag as well?
It was an amazing feeling. That week is different format wise, with a team part of it, and having two other professionals as part of your team as well. So it was definitely probably more of relaxed in the first few days, being paired up with Bryce Butler. He was a riot. So we had so much fun. But having my brother there on my bag, coming down the stretch, especially, I was really, really focused in like on my game and my swing to where, you don't have the moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm leading the tournament. Like none of those moments actually ever came to my mind. I was just like so zoned in to putting good golf swings on my shots and really committing to my putts and my lines. And in between shots, I just shut it off. I had my brother there and he was helping me, making me laugh. And, he's so funny. You would never know anything is bothering him. So he was perfect to have out there. And if I try to vent to him or get upset with him, Lexi, he's your brother. He doesn't do this for like he golfs for a living, but I'm like, you cannot get mad at him. I'm like, and sometimes I'll vent to him and he'll start laughing. I'm like, that's not funny. I'm like, that's not funny. But we had a great time out there, and to be able to get the win with him by my side, it was a special moment. And I think for any athlete, putting in all the hours of training and all the hours of hard work to be able to get that win and to know that it paid off, I think that's more satisfying than anything. It's not going to do anything. Like, obviously it makes me happy, but knowing that all those hours paid off really makes the difference.
Yeah, look, well, listen to your family sounds and your talents is very, very important. So if I rewind back to 15 years of age and you come in, and I probably didn't go like this, but you go to mom and dad, I want to turn professional. What was their reaction? Had this been a build-up? Because clearly you're good enough, right? But I'd love to have known what their reaction was.
They were so supportive. Honestly, I wanted to turn pro at 14. Straight like, well, maybe let's maybe just wait another year and like finish up school or online schooling, whatever, and go from there. And that was a really good decision, obviously, so because I didn't have to worry about my online schooling and calling my teachers when I was on the road. So it really did help out. But I have had nothing but support from my parents. It's funny because both my parents are very different. My mom, she's very supportive, but at the same time, she does not care about golf really. Like, she'll come out to a few events, but like she'll walk and mingle with everybody, and everybody will come up to me. They're like, "Oh, I met your mother," and I'm like, they're like, "I love her," and she just enjoys just being out there and showing her love for us. Like, scores does not matter to her. And my dad is like all about my golf and all of our golfs. All of our golf games, because he's been like our coach and he's always been there for us. And it's just funny having the two opposites, but it's great because it's a great balance. And I know I can go to my dad for anything on and off the golf course, obviously, but especially my golf game. He's so helpful and he's always been there throughout my whole career and just been amazing. But to have the support from both of them, it's made a world of a difference. And I mean, they're my team. They're my everything.
Well, I suppose winning a major at 19 years of age, I mean, you've obviously then propelled onto the world stage. And again, and then Harry spoke to you earlier on about, that change from being amateur to turning pro, but winning a major then is a different level. And how did that kind of change, or did it change at all with kind of the media then, I suppose, being right at you? Consider you're 19 years of age,
Yeah, it made a difference. Getting the first major championship under your belt, it's a huge accomplishment rather than the first win. I think that's probably the biggest, getting the first win, because then you're like, all right, I can accomplish this. I can do this. I've gotten through those moments. And being able to get that first win really is helpful. But the amount of pressure that's in a major, I think, is a lot different. Coming down the stretch, especially at Mission Hills, and with that 18th hole surrounded by water, it's a very special moment. And to be able to pull that off under those kind of circumstances and those kind of pressures and expectations, it's the best feeling. And to be able to get that first major there, I've always dreamt of jumping into Poppy's Pond, and to be able to do that and share that moment with my family, best moment ever.
Yeah, and it's an iconic place, and it's sad in a way to see it end this year. I was lucky enough to be there, and having watched it on telly for years and watched loads of women jump into Poppy's Pond, it was a pretty cool experience to even just caddy in that major next year. Never mind go ahead and win it like you did. But let's move on to fitness and the gym, because most of the time when I flick through my Instagram, Lexi is pumping it in the gym at 5:15. And as you say, you might be back in it in the afternoon again. But it's a huge part of who you are, what you do. A lot of it is obviously, very much needed and what's needed in the modern world of a supreme athlete. But you obviously love it too. It's one of your go-to things. Tell us a little bit about, was that always there from the start, or is it something that you've kind of really channeled more so as your career has developed?
Yeah, I would say I got into fitness probably when I was around 15 to 16 years old, but not as much as I am now. I just kind of got into working out at that age and started working with the Florida hockey trainer. So I worked with him for a few years and really noticed the difference, not only in my body, but how I was able to get through those long days out in the golf course. A lot of people are like, like golf isn't like a sport. I'm like, you try going out there and walking for that many hours in certain like weather conditions. And it's hard. It's tough on your body. So it was very important for me to get healthier, and get in the gym and really focus on, gaining things that I kind of needed, with my swing and everything. And I really felt like I got stronger. And then over the years, I think now it's more mental, like it's more my mental outlet. I love going in there and being surrounded by people that are trying to better themselves and really just pushing myself to be better. I love going in there, putting my headphones on. Nobody's bothering me. Hopefully nobody's bothering me. And I enjoy it. There's no words that can describe it. And hopefully, on top of golf, maybe have my own gym one day, because I know how much it's helped me physically and mentally. And I'd love to see that and help other people as well.
Brilliant. You've just mentioned that, and I'm going to skip and ask you that. What does life hold away from the golf course for Lexi? You have many more years and many more titles to come, but I suppose when you look at it and as you mature, you must have moments where you think about, what will I do? Or obviously we know that you have your skincare business and you have some different avenues that you like to go down, but maybe opening a series of gyms might be the way it's going to go, is it?
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. Fitness has been a huge part of my life. I enjoy it so much, and I'd love to have that and have a gym under my name and have, obviously the golf part of it as well. But just the social aspect, I think, is what's amazing about the fitness world as well. So yeah, I think sky's the limit. Without golf, I mean, I'm 27. Yes, I'm young, but family's a big part too. So hopefully settle down one day and have a family of my own. But other than that, yeah, opening up my own gym and maybe still in the golf world, giving back, whether it's clinics or charity events. I don't really know. It's kind of all up in the air, but yeah, I just finished my 12th year. So it's something to be thought about though.
The recent QBE shootout, how do you find that kind of a format, the men and the women playing together? It seems to be a really fun event, and I suppose you'll be playing along into the future as well.
Sorry, which event? You cut out.
The QBE, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it's very exciting. I think golf needs more team events in general. Golf being such an individual sport, we don't get the opportunity to be able to play alongside somebody or represent. We have a few events that we can represent our country and be part of a team, which is amazing. Those are always my favorite events. But to be able to be paired up with the guys, I think is very exciting. And I think next year will definitely show wonders for that. And I think we'll really get into watching. We'll grow a whole new fan base. And I think it'll be very exciting just for the game of golf. I think it'll grow it.
Lexi, do you set goals out each year, or is it like, could you sit down with your team in December, do you have a review, or then in sort of January, do you have a kind of a preview of what you're going to do for the next season in terms of your schedule, and in terms of, suppose, maybe your swing and what you'd like to do, or your stats? Do you look at them as like as much as a lot of the other people and say, 0.1 there of an increase will gain strokes, and that is that kind of a process, or is it just much more simpler, turn up and just play?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, I kind of knew that actually.
You knew the answer before you asked the question. No, I'm just messing. I feel like a lot of people are different though. Like for me, that's not something I really focus in on. Yes, I do my stats because we have to, but I know what I need to improve on. I know what I need to work on. I don't need a piece of paper or stat to show me that. And it's not, I do have goals like next year, Solheim. So I obviously want to be on that team representing my country. But besides that, I go into every tournament wanting to win. There's not one set goal, that I want to accomplish. I want to win, and it's basically as simple as that. I don't have to sit down with a team to be able to you guys, I need to win more. But no, it's just constant improvement. I want to play consistent golf. I know that I'm putting in the hours and the hard work, and that's all I can do. So showing that consistency and keep on improving. I mean, golf isn't the end of the world, so it's just a game. But I enjoy it, and I want to see constant improvements on what I've been working on. That's all.
Brilliant answer. You seem to be in a really good space when it comes to golf, understanding yourself, understanding your game. Like I said, you're out there 12 years, and while 12 years isn't that terribly long, but it's amazing the stuff that you learn, I suppose, about the game and about yourself over that period of time, and you can kind of knock the edges off and get yourself to where you want to be with the game, because it's a maddening game at times, that's for sure. We've spoken about family. I want to speak about your dog, Leo. I'm intrigued. Mm-hmm. Will Leo be allowed in this new vehicle that's arriving tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to figure it out, because he's clawed some of my, not clawed, but you can see definitely some of his scratch marks on my other vehicle. But yeah, I need a passenger. He needs to be side by side and stick his head out the window. Yeah, he'll absolutely love it. He probably won't know what's going on once I throw him in there, because I have a Corvette, and anytime I put him in the front seat, he just goes straight to the trunk, which obviously you can get to from the driver's seat. So he loves it.
Right, we were going to do kind of a New Year's resolution, Christmas cracker kind of quiz. Is it, Harry? We're going to do New Year's resolution because we're into it. Christmas is over. So there's a couple of quick fire questions we're going to ask you, and we'll see how we get on. So I know Harry's after doing all these out, so just bear with me for this one for a second. so we give it to each other time. So tonight, will you have a Bailey's coffee or 20 sit-ups?
20 sit-ups.
We kind of knew what that answer was going to be, Ian, didn't we? Next one.
I would have done that one.
What was that?
If I like Bailey's or coffee, I probably would have done that.
Well, what would you have? What did you have last night? What is your go-to drink when you're relaxing?
I'd say I like vodka. So anything mixed with vodka, usually a sparkling that.
We'll remember that. Right. Next question. America to win the Solheim Cup or to win the international crown?
Solheim.
Very good. Right. Again, apologies, Harry gave me this one. What's your weakness that you might consider giving up in 2023?
A weakness that I'd give up to where it's not my weakness anymore, or am I giving it to somebody else?
No, you're giving, what did I mean by a New Year's resolution? Have you anything? I know these New Year's resolutions are rubbish. They probably last about 4 days for myself and Ian anyhow. But is there anything that you would actually say that you're going to consider changing or giving up for the new year?
Okay, these are two very different things. I'd say either chocolate or negative attitude.
Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Two very different, but I feel like one might hold on more than the other.
I must talk to your brother the next time I see him. He'll give me an update on the negative attitude.
Yeah, make sure you talk to him way at the end.
Next one. A major championship win in Pebble Beach or Baltusrol this year?
Pebble Beach.
Why?
Because it's Pebble Beach and it's the US Open. It's the first place I ever did that not professionally, but at a professional event.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, one wish for the golfing world in 2023, something that you might fix or change. again, Harry, thanks very much for this. This could be a rule or anything that you might like. Oh God, we don't need this.
Could be no more 18-hole pro-ams on the LPGA. Keep them to 9 and 9, or
Okay, well, I like that one. We can add that one to the list. Another rule, maybe no, like you can remove it from divots. If you're in the fairway, you can remove a divot.
Yeah, I'm absolutely 100% with you on that one. I've never understood that one at all.
Well, what's a divot then? We'll have a rules official out every 5 minutes.
I know. Well, I'm not saying it's going to be possible, but
no, that's your wish.
With my golf, Harry, I'll show you what a divot is. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I was going to say, everybody knows who left my divot. Mine are trenches, not divots.
Lexi, look, thanks so much for coming on. We're absolutely thrilled to have you. It's a privilege. It's great to see you. You seem to be in a great time in your career, very laid back and everything, which means I think that next year will be a great success. Thanks so much for coming on. We wish you all the very best, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you guys for having me on.